Clad in red. Wow, they really dumbed down that name. What happened to Reddit? Not sure how I feel about it, but let's continue on. New skills. Holy shit. 6 new skills. Goddess's Hymn, 5-star Bard, up to large party mind up. Skills with Goddess Hymn uses. ETA, 3 single target, holy white magic damage, medium chance of Myra and Pearl Holy. If I recall correctly. The multiplier is crap. I mean, let's go take a look. So, it's kind of one of those, oh, I'm going to reset the game until this Minor and Pearl Holy actually works. Hmm. 921? It's not awful. 25% chance, though. Might keep it around. Who knows? Who would I put it on? Not Rem. Not Minwoo. Honestly, I wouldn't want to put it on anybody. Maybe, Onion Knight. Actually, could be good on Onion Knight. Yeah, I'd probably keep it around for that. It gives Onion Knight the ability to contribute where he couldn't before, because him using no unholy holies doesn't do any damage. It's like 5k. So by using these, yeah, you're giving up on the fact that you can deal damage, but you couldn't deal damage anyway. But you might be able to increase the damage of the other people in the party. I don't know, maybe it's worth it. I won't be shattering this. Grand Charge, heavy charge stuff. So this is a charge generator for a single target. Wow, that's nice. And this is a charge expender. Which, the higher heavy charge that you have, the more hits Gigant Swing does. Number of hits scaled with heavy charge count. So you use these two in conjunction, or you use someone like Sync, who can generate heavy charge count, or heavy charges through other means with a record dive, legend dive. Blast Burn, 5-star combat, area of effect Earth, blowing that up. And plain old heavy charge 4-star is also blow that up. So I'll be keeping Dieta, Grand Charge, and Gigant Swing, and blowing up the other 3. Mind Up on a Bard ability just does not appeal to me in the slightest, so I'm blowing it up. You don't have to. You probably won't. New characters: King, Combat 4, nice. Support 4, nice. Machinist 5, nice. Sharpshooter 5, don't care. Black Magic, White Magic, don't care. But he can stop and dispel, I guess that's kind of cool. Daggers and Guns, it's okay that he can't use anything other than guns, because his USB is a gun and it's a plus lightning gun, so if you've got what it takes to use King, which is his USB, then you've got the gun that he wants to use. So there's no reason for him to use any other weapon type. Record dive is a lot of machinist damage, which is fine. It's fine. For him. He's specifically a very good machinist. Ability user, not just machinist that uses guns and soul breaks and stuff. Sync, Combat 5, Sport 5, Heavy Combat 5, Black Magic 3, White Magic 3. Same situation. What do you got? Heavy Combat 9 and Hammer 3, exact same dive. Just for Heavy Combat instead. And she also, her USB, which is on the banner, has a plus Earth banner. Or plus Earth hammer, so. It's okay that all she can use is daggers and hammers. Can Mog use Bard 5? Yeah, no, he can't. He's a dancer. Legend Spheres King. Lightning damage 9 is good. Sync Earth damage 9 is good. King. LM2 is start battle with haste and cast 3. Excellent LM2. It's something that just doesn't get old. It's so good. And sync, like I was talking about, her legend dive, high chance to gain a heavy charge when using heavy combat abilities. So she has an instant thing. We're gonna go into it right now, actually, on the relic banner. I'll skip to that just so I can talk about her legend dive. What? What do you mean it's not found? Can I get to it from here? Alright. Okay, Sync Whirling Mace. 10 single target Earth Wind physical damage and Earth Self Heavy Combat boost and Heavy Charge boost. Heavy Charge boost means whenever she gains a charge of heavy charge, she gains 2. She gains 1 more. So, she has a chance to generate heavy charge just by using a heavy ability. So she can, every time she uses a heavy combat ability, she can generate 2 charges. So she doesn't actually need the generator. You can just have her spam the spender. And hopefully it procs and gives you 2 charges, making the heavy charge ability good next time, and then, you know, you chain it. It's annoying RNG. It totally is. But it's something you can do. It's a 50% chance to grant heavy charge 1 to the user after using a heavy ability. So it's not like 35% low. It's a half chance to renew your stacks. If it doesn't renew the stacks, the ability is 3 attacks of 1.0 each. So it's a 3.0 ability, even if you don't have any stacks. So it's actually not that bad. And Grand Charge 2.2 for single attacks grants heavy charge 1. This is the generator. So even Gigant Swing at its 3 attacks at 1.0 is stronger. Even though it's 3 attacks rather than 4, it's still stronger than the generator. So honestly, I don't think if you Legend Dive Sync, I don't think there's any reason at all to use Grand Charge on her. You just want to use Gigant Swing and hope you get that 50%, because if you get that 50%, then next turn, well, you do 7.04 multiplier instead of 3 over 8 attacks. It's pretty impressive. So because half of the time she's going to have the charges and half of the time she isn't, you just take the average between the two, and that would be, what is it, 5.0. 5.0 per turn, basically. instance, half the time she's going to be doing 3.0 and half the time she's going to be doing 7.04. When do we get Evil Swing? It's going to be a while from now. So anyway, Sync's USB, in my opinion, is good. She's very effective earth damage. It is an earth hammer itself. Oh yeah, and heavy combat boost means, I think if that's a rank-based boost, so that's good too, because kind of like Beatrix and Guardbringer, she does centralize her ability usage to a single ability. So unlike Orlando, for instance, it's usually just better to use 2 copies of Assault Saber with him. But for someone like Sync, you just want to have a very, very high honed Gigant Swing. So the heavy combat boost, which I believe if it's not rank based, then ignore everything I just said. Heavy rank boost. It is a rank based boost. So I suppose if I get Sync's USB, I'm probably R5ing Gigant Swing. I mean, I'd wait. That's a hell of an expenditure. I'd wait until we get the Lightning 5-star Magicite. But... or if you can't defeat Ixion right now. But anyway, Attach Earth is plus 50% damage. Heavy rank boost will be plus 30% extra damage if it's R5, or plus 20% if it's R4. And the heavy charge boosters, you know, granting yourself extra charges. So Sync does a lot of damage. Yeah, so that's a really good physical Earth relic on the first banner. Now we'll start from the beginning, where we have King's Outsiders. Endless Waltz, the Gundam Wing movie, is 12 single target, lightning non-elemental. Already we see it's great for building chain, because not many things have 12 attacks. But it gets even better. Lightning, non-elemental, range physical, and lightning, self-attack and defense plus 30%, and machinist ability double. Machinist ability double means he attacks 12 times per turn, because he uses Tempest Snipe twice. So 12 on entry, and then 12 every single turn. So King is the king of chain building. Possibly Chrono, but yeah, okay, more likely than not, yes, you probably want the overflow skill. But if you have other ways to do it, like another person that uses heavy combat, you may want to use Sync for something else. I don't know. Regardless, it doesn't matter, because I advised waiting until 5-star Magicite to put that many ranks into it. Okay, so King and the guns themselves, Outsiders, is a plus lightning gun. So that's an awesome relic, just like Sync's Shockhammer is. Next up, we have Organics for Rem. It's her OSB. It's actually good that she's getting an OSB here. I know we don't get that many OSBs anymore, but Rem is a high quick cast cycler, as you see here on her USB, just like Lightning, just like Lunith. High quick cast cycle means the people are very, very good at casting soul breaks. So that makes Rem an excellent user, or person to funnel soul break points into with entrusts and stuff like that. So use her USB, give yourself high quick cast, and you just spam cast these OSBs, and she does a whole lot of damage. And the dagger itself, the Organics dagger, is a 174 or 177 mined holy dagger. So that's actually kind of awesome too. Oh, her high quick cycle procs on weakness. Yeah, good. Good for bringing that up. Which means that would make her potent against fire vulnerable bosses as well, because the OSB is holy and fire, and the damage bonus on the OSB is also increased when hitting weakness. So she could actually be a fire damage dealer. She's probably going to do 100,000 every single OSB. Won't have end fire, of course. No, the Argentic daggers are not. I said organics is. Which it is. Okay, so that's the 4 6-stars on the banner. They're all good. The banner definitely does lean towards magical holy damage. With Rem's OSB and Rem's USB. So what I'm looking at from the banner right now is, do I need magical holy damage? And if I do, then how do I feel about physical earth and physical lightning? And if I liked all 3 of those things, that would make this a really good banner. Because all 4 of the 6 stars are very good. And that's a rare thing these days on event banners. Okay, Sync's Bursts is area of effect and earth. Sync Burst is junk. Sync's Burst is an Earth Burst. That's it. I don't consider those to be terribly valuable. Because they're so common. Stuff that's so replaceable and easy to find on numerous places. Any festival banner that, you know, has an earth element going on for it. Or just, you know, an element. I'm never going to consider this thing to be good unless the burst commands somehow have a use, which hers don't. King's Academia Uniform. 12 single target damage. And lightning. Additional hit when weakness and self machinist 2. Instant machinist 2. I don't know how I feel about stuff like this anymore. It's probably still decent. So what you do is you cast the BSB and then you use his command 2. You don't bother with the command 1. I know it says additional hit when weakness, but it still has a low multiplier. You're just going to want to use Tempest Snipe. So what you do is you use command 2 and give yourself self-instant machinist 2. And then use 2 Tempest Snipes and then you use command 2 again. Problem here is that you're wasting a turn just to get those 2 instant cast charges. And you're using it on a single hit attack that does a 1.85 multiplier. So it's probably worth using once. So you use it at the beginning of the burst, and you do 2 Tempest Snipes. The reason why it's worth using once and not twice is, maybe it is. Maybe it is. And so you have 15 seconds of burst mode. And I do believe that you can get in 6 actions if 4 of those actions are instantaneous within the span of burst mode. Okay, so that would be how you would run King, is, I think, command 2, Tempest Snipe, command 2, Tempest Snipe. So his burst is actually useful for something. And it looks like it's got a little footnote on it. Lightning resistance. Well, I'm not that down on resistance armor because of dual elemental bosses like Tiamat, for instance. Tiamat, whose primary damage dealt is wind, but has a fair amount of fire damage going for her as well. So it's really nice to defend against wind damage in your accessories, and there's nothing wrong with taking these minor resistances on your armor. That's what makes Orlando's LMR as good as it is right now, because it's a strong shield with that has minor resist fire on it. Unfortunately, elemental resistances don't stack, and that's why you'd go one and then the other. Okay, so next up, after King's decent burst, we have Rem's burst, which is holy damage armor, holy dark white damage, unholy, self smart other 1. Why? Maybe useful in the distant future when we get 6-star abilities for her to use, but it's too easy to hone the abilities that she uses right now, so I'm not going to consider that much of a use at all. It is free though, so frig it, why not, you know? It's just an unholy burst. 4 single target, holy dark white damage, self Kiraga. Oh, this is that. You know, the second command says self magic blink 1, and that kind of sounds neat, but it's really just not. It's not really worth casting this, but this is an instant command because this is a sustained command, and I'm pretty sure that using this burst, you can solo. What is it? Zodiark? Izamat, that's it. Izamat, the super boss that we'll be getting in September. Zodiark is another boss in Final Fantasy XII. That's their torment. So that is actually kind of an interesting thing. It's holy armor, and that's probably the most useful part about it. It's just the way bursts are, but it's still a neat little burst. Let's see, Ace, Academia, Summer Uniform. Okay, this is his nice burst. This is actually good. It's 0 cast time, 8 single target fire and elemental damage, and party physical blink. Instant physical blink. This is already pretty interesting. It has utility. And now because of a new thing Ace gets on this banner, it actually turns into more than just utility. It turns into a high damage output as well. And that LMR is start the battle within fire. The reason why this is basically just utility by itself is it doesn't have fire. So he's not going to do a whole lot of damage. It's instantaneous, so that's nice, but after that, that changes if he starts out with Empire, because now every single 0 cast time, 8 single target fire non-elemental attack that you do with this is going to be boosted by 80% for the first 25 seconds of the fight. That makes Ace a really potent damage dealer, just with his LMR and his Burst Soul Break. Not only is that potent, but you're also, like, if you want to throw an Entruster on him during the Eisgebind fight, Eisgebind is pure physical damage. So if you just keep entrusting to Ace for the first 25 seconds of the fight, not only is it going to make your team basically invulnerable, but he's going to do a ton of damage. It's actually a really interesting burst. It was decent for utility, but now it's combined with his LMR. It's actually really good. And that's the bursts. There's only 4. So let's say we've got an interesting one here. Better than average, really good. This is a very strange burst section. You usually don't get bursts this good. The only bursts you get, the burst sections that you get this good are like on Final Fantasy VIII, for like Laguna and Ultimecia and Squall. Burst sections like that kind of blow this out of the water. But this is still better than average. And because we have 4 good 6 stars here on the top of the banner, and a decent burst section, we already have a banner that it's probably one of the best, if not the best, event banner in between now and the next festival. But let's continue on into the Legend Materia section, which is Sync's LMR start battle with an Earth. That's really good. King start battle with Lightning. That's really good. And Ace, we already talked about that one. And Rem, low chance to chase holy abilities with Saintfire. That's good. It's her. This is her LMR2. Her LMR1 is actually really bad. So it is nice that she has an actual decent LMR2. It's not a strong chase. I don't expect much to come out of it, but it's probably better than her LM1, which is plus 10% holy damage. One of the issues that quick cyclers have is that they damage cap. Quick cyclers, if that's all they do, like Rem, cap out at 4 hits. She casts Holy very quickly, but she casts Holy and it only has 4 hits. So it caps out there. Where other people say, I don't know, who's a good example? Who's got a good N-element chase? Why is nobody coming to mind? Well, anyway, N-element chase instead of quick cycle. So they cast an ability. It's probably got 4 hits or 5 hits. And it caps out there, but they have the chase to extend the damage beyond that. It's usually better to have access to that because it's harder. Zach does not have a chase. He just has a quick cycle. It's easier to give your team quick cast than it is to give them extra damage. Or extra damage potential through the use of chases. So you want to default towards chases. That's why it's good for Rem to have something like this, because it's, let's check the multiplier on it. Titus, yeah, Titus is a good one. Or Riku, the Kingdom Hearts character. Now they're coming into my mind. 50% chance to chase with a 5.05. That's going to cap, so that does add basically an extra hit onto Holy, 50% of the time. That's not bad. I would still use her LM1 if you're going to use her as an OSB bot, because the OSB is not going to trigger this 50% chance. But if you're going to use her for a USB, and not get entrusted to, and just spam holies, then this would be the Legitimatory of choice, other than her obviously good 35% chance of dual cast. Okay, next up we have Super Soul Break. So we had a dream on this banner, but it was ruined slightly by Super Soul Breaks. Maybe. And we see here that actually not so much. Yeah, all of those, right. Ingus, Beatrix, the rake-based chases like Dorgon. Simple. There's a lot of people that have them. Okay, but anyway, this Super Soul Break's actually good. It's a 0 cast time in Pearl Lightning. Yeah, it's area of effect, but 0 cast time always means that there's a lot of damage involved. King can actually be a pretty useful member for even a 4-star Magicite party. Hey, who knows, possibly 5-star too. Yeah, because 0 cast time in Pearl Lightning is going to be good, and he has a very good lightning ability that he can use when he's not using Soul Breaks. As long as you have people that can carry him, he's here to enable other people. So this or this Super Soul Break is actually decent, and I would like to have it on King. I would very much like to have his USB instead, because then he starts carrying other people, as well as being an enabler, since he adds 12 stacks to a chain every turn. If not more. No, he doesn't have any dual cast. Right. Okay, but Sync, Super Soul Break, 6 area of effect, enemy hyper break. Okay, this one sucks. So let's look at this banner and see if we can pick out the bad stuff on it. I think Sync's BSB is not no good. I think King's with the 2 charges of instant cast aren't really that good either. It's definitely better than what Sync is running, but I don't think it stands out enough to be better than replacement level. Rems isn't either, but it does have a unique characteristic of being able to wreck a super boss in the future. Ace is one of the best bursts in the game, strange as that is. And then we have Sync Super Soul Break. Honestly, this is a pretty good banner. There's a lot of good stuff on this. That's a good point, Jimbo. We're in kind of a weird area right now, I'd say, where Hades is a very hard boss. I have not sub-30'd Hades yet. I would like holy things that would allow me to sub-30 Hades. So I'm not thinking about 5-star Magicite yet. I'm still thinking about the challenge in front of me. So it's neat to think about how effective she will be. No, it doesn't do anything for you to think about how effective she will be in the future against 5-star Magicite, because that is in another world. That's in 2019. Deep into 2019. Right. I was just going to bring that up, but this is for me personally. I did have that pull on the Holy Banner that got me Beatrix's USB, which I think is amazing, but it's not enough to do the job by itself. However, it's a rank-based chase on a knight, so she does, if she doesn't double cast, she does 11 hits per turn. She works really, really well with a chain. So getting Beatrix's USB basically said, it told me to stay away from this banner, even though I was trying to put together a Holy Magical team, because now I've pivoted to Physical Holy, and now I basically revolve my pulls for Holy around getting the Holy Chain. So I will not be pulling on this banner, despite the fact that I think it's really good. But if I hadn't got Beatrix's USB, I would probably have pulled here. Because Sid Reigns, Onion Knight, because Onion Knight's USB for mages has a mind boost on it as well, and Rem's damage is white magic based, so it's based off of mind, not magic, which is important. Them two together, and possibly with my inclusion of Hope as well, would have... I'm pretty confident that would have created a team that would have allowed me to sub-30 Hades. What's the next draw target? Festival. I don't think there's anything between now and the festival that I really care for. This was it. And once I got Beatrix's USB, it's alright. Guess you're stockpiling. Oh, the Fire Elemental banner. I'm interested in what appears on that. I don't know if it's a target until we know what's on the banner. But the first two things that we know of, VV-USB and Krill Chain, they're pretty nice. They're pretty nice. That is a very, very good start. Okay, so that first banner is actually phenomenal. Second banner, we have 9's USB, 10 single target wind, imperil, and chase dragoon abilities. So he chases. I do like Cyclone Bolt and Aerial Dive. So I think when I did a distant preview of this banner, I probably kind of shat on this a bit because I didn't really feel good about any Dragoons if they didn't have instant jumps and turn them into like Soul Break batteries. Yes, well that's a thing, Jimbo. King, I would probably make use of. Sync, I'm not sure. There's a lot of physical earth coming, and I'm going to be pulling on it. I guess I'm pulling on banners with Tifa, Galoof, and Bartz, who are all fantastic Earth characters. I think I wouldn't care. Wouldn't care. I want King, and I think having Sync would be good because she's just as good as those other characters. So if I had her USB, it would just cause me to use less Mithril on those other banners, I think. And because of the way the new chains work, I was thinking about this as well. Gloof's chain, if I got Gloof's chain, he would be on the team. So that would mean I would have 4 Earth characters if everything went according to plan. Tifa, Bartz, Galoof, and Sync. I think that would be okay. Because Galoof's chain is a plus 50% attack buff. So he would be the buffer in the party, not like a huge damage dealer. So I would actually have use for 4 attackers. Otherwise, if I only had 3 attackers, then I just use Shulk instead. Because I'm sure there would be 3 people there that could be made to go faster and use their second soul breaks. Like, Bartz. Bartz is going to have 1,000,000 soul breaks to use. And the more you can use, the better. So, having Shulk on a team with Bartz is not a bad thing. Okay, so anyway, 9. 9 is an Imperil stacker. Yeah. Wild Lance is medium chance to Mire Imperil Wind. The problem is, with stuff like this, I love it on Zidane. Zidane is so good at this, but 9 is not Zidane. Zidane, when you have him Legend dived, his LM2, his trance mode makes all of his thief abilities instantaneous. So he quickly gets those 25% checks in from a couple sources in order to try and imperil the boss. 9 is not that. He's not a fast attacker at all. He's a slow attacker. He uses Cyclone Bolt once, Aerial Dive twice, and then just keeps it up. So I don't think he's a good Imperil stacker. So I'm not really that thrilled with 9. So that's that. And next up we have Machina, who we all know is a horrible excuse for a character. And then when we get to Record Keeper, we discover that he's really not good at. He's not good in Record Keeper either. Multiplier scales with spell blade abilities used. That's a bad modifier for an OSB. It's an OSB, and you kind of have to be a quick cycler to make real good use of these. Otherwise, or for someone like a Sid Reigns who can instant cast them out with his burst commands. So that's not great. And Machina is just he's based upon keeping Stone Skin in physical blink, or just blinks active. He's just a weird character. I don't like him at all. So this is a hole on the banner. And 9's USB is only so-so. But we do have Queen's OSB and USB, and she does have a quick cycle for lightning. So she's actually multiplier increases with weakness. That's a good modifier for an OSB. Queen actually becomes a good character. Well, she's a good character now, but when she gets her OSB, she becomes a better character. She's even better, actually, since she has a trance mode for her LM2 that gives her ×3 cast speed. So she will basically instant cast out her OSBs once her USB is active. Okay, bursts. Deuce's Burst is obviously really good. That's an awesome thing to have on this banner. Queen's BSB is actually strange, but good. I like it. Because she's a quick cycler, so she's really... Oh shit, she's quick cast Spellblade. Never mind. That changes everything. No, it doesn't really. The quick cast is ×2 quick cast. It's you cast everything 2 things or twice as fast as normal. But for her, it's only spell blades. but with her trance, she does cast everything at ×3 cast speed. So she's still good at casting things really quickly. So it definitely... I don't like finding that out. I don't like school-based quick casts. But she's still good because of that awesome dive that she has. So the BSB is still good because if you can get her enough soul break points, I mean, giving the party critical 50%, and then going back to casting OSBs or something, it's a really nice thing for her to be able to do. So that's a really a nice complementary soul break for her. Machina, ooh, party stone skin 30%. He sucks. 9 and wind. Dark Bargain on the second command. No, it's just an N1 burst. Legend Materia Relics. We have Queen, low chance to double cast lightning abilities. Well, that's awesome. Machina, start battle with an Earth. That makes you better. It's hard to improve upon what you actually are, though. 9, low chance to minor imperil. This plays into his USB, so he's got 2 chances to minor imperil every time he uses